The AI industry is about to face a reckoning it has been quietly building toward for years, and the companies most exposed have absolutely no idea it's coming. By the end of this video, you will understand why the fragility baked into today's agentic enterprise is more dangerous than any headline this week, and why 3 stories that look completely unrelated are actually telling the same story. This week, Anthropic's flagship models got suspended after Amazon's own security research triggered a White House meeting. Jeff Bezos announced something he is calling an artificial general engineer, and Google claimed to have solved AI hallucinations. Let's get into it. We are going to start with something that sounds like a breakthrough but is closer to a band-aid on a bullet wound. Google researchers this week unveiled what they are calling faithful uncertainty. The idea is that instead of an AI model confidently hallucinating a wrong answer, it expresses a confidence level. It says something like, "I am not sure about this," rather than just making something up with full conviction. Now, Google rates this one at 45% credibility in the newsletter I pull from, so I want to be fair, there is something real happening in this research. Confidence calibration is a legitimate technical problem. But here is the hot take: teaching a pathological liar to preface their lies with the words "I think" does not make them honest. The fundamental issue with large language models is not that they are overconfident. It is that they are statistical text generators being asked to do the job of knowledge engines. A hesitant hallucination is still a hallucination. Google's approach apparently works in controlled benchmarks but falls apart when models are confidently wrong about basic facts, which, by the way, happens every single day in production systems. This is what makes it such a clean example of the wider problem I want to talk about today. We keep patching the surface while the foundation stays broken. And what I am about to tell you about Jeff Bezos makes that point even harder. Before I get into that, I want your hot take. Drop it in the comments right now. Is confidence calibration a real breakthrough, or just a more polite way to be wrong? I genuinely want to know what you think. So Bezos. His AI startup this week announced plans to build what they are calling an artificial general engineer. This is supposedly a specialized AI system capable of handling complex engineering tasks across multiple domains. The newsletter puts this one at 15% credibility, so I want to be clear, we are treating this as a claim, not a fact. What they claim is that this goes beyond AGI into something more focused and enterprise-ready. Here's what is actually happening: AGI was too scary for boardrooms and too vague for pitch decks. So now we get artificial general engineer, all the impossible promises, none of the existential dread, and a job title investors can actually visualize. Bezos has the capital and the talent to build genuinely impressive engineering tools. Nobody is disputing that. But slapping the word general in front of engineer does not solve the fundamental challenges of AI reasoning, planning, or understanding physical systems. It just makes the pitch sound more achievable. And that gap between the pitch and the reality is exactly where the fragility lives. Which brings me to the story that connects everything this week, and honestly everything happening in enterprise AI right now. Amazon's security research apparently triggered a White House meeting, Anthropic suspended access to their flagship models, and Canada's Prime Minister publicly warned about AI dependence, all in the same week. The newsletter frames these as 3 dots waiting to be connected, and here is the line I draw through all of them. We are watching corporate intelligence become state policy in real time. When a single company's security research can get a competitor's best models pulled from the market, that is not a normal competitive dynamic. That is infrastructure-level power. When a national leader has to warn citizens about depending too much on foreign AI systems, that is not a tech story, that is a sovereignty story. And when any of this can happen overnight, with no warning, it exposes the deepest flaw in how enterprises are currently building on AI. The fragility is not just technical. It is structural. Companies are building production-critical systems on top of models they do not own, do not control, and cannot predict. And as of early 2024, fewer than 14% of enterprise software engineers were even regularly using AI coding assistants. Full adoption was not projected until 2028. So we are not even at scale yet, and the cracks are already visible. When a human developer fixes a critical bug in an AI-generated codebase today, that knowledge disappears the moment the session ends. It does not propagate to other teams. It does not update the model. It does not prevent the same error from happening next week. That is what I mean by collective amnesia. We are building the most productive-looking workforce in history on a foundation that forgets everything. Drop your hot take in the comments. If governments are already treating AI model access as a national security issue, should enterprises be banned from building critical infrastructure on top of foreign AI systems? That is not a hypothetical anymore. The dot connector this week is this: Google is patching hallucinations, Bezos is rebranding AGI, and entire governments are realizing they handed the keys to systems they do not control. These are not separate stories. They are 3 different angles on the same crisis: the gap between how powerful AI looks and how stable it actually is. The companies that survive the next 5 years will be the ones who treated that gap as an engineering problem, not a marketing problem. If you want the full breakdown every Monday, completely free, I go deep in Overfitted. It is skeptical AI commentary with credibility ratings on every claim, so you always know what is real and what is hype. Link is in the description. No fluff. No sponsored takes. Just reality checks. If this video gave you one thing to think differently about, hit like, share it with someone building on AI right now, and subscribe, because next week I am covering how model drift is quietly corrupting enterprise data pipelines and nobody is measuring it. You do not want to miss that one. And here is the question I want to leave you with. If every AI agent forgets everything the moment the session ends, are we really building more intelligent enterprises, or just more expensive ones?